Pass, bid, or double. Determining factors. All right, so let's look at some examples. I have examples to walk us through all of these ideas. So let's take a look at this first example. And we're talking competitive auctions. So both sides are bidding. In everything that we discuss in this class, both sides will be bidding, and we'll be deciding whether we compete on or whether we stop and double. So let's take a look at this auction. You're all sitting east, and south passes. Partner opens 1 diamond. North bids 1 heart. East makes a negative double. South bids 2 hearts, raising their partner's hearts. Partner passes. North passes, and East bids 3 diamonds. All right, so East has made a negative double, trying to find spades, and then comes back to their partner's diamond suit. South bids 3 hearts, and it goes pass, pass. Okay. So East, West are vulnerable. Vulnerability is going to be one of the factors that we look at deciding whether to double or pass or continue bidding. So East, West is vulnerable, and we have to decide. So this is what East is thinking. Wow, now what do I do, right? East could bid 4 diamonds. East could double 3 hearts. East could pass 3 hearts, right? They've got all 3 choices. So let's take a look at what East should be thinking about. And then we'll come back to this hand and take a look at each individual option. So factors used to determine whether to pass, bid, or double. And we will have all of these factors. We'll be working through our examples. So I've just had them a checklist here, and then you'll hear me talking about them when we're working through the examples. So law of total tricks, that's saying that the number of trump equal the number of tricks. The holding in the opponent's bid suit. Okay, so that means what high cards do you have in your opponent's bid suit? That's one of the factors. The vulnerability, as I mentioned, that's going to be a factor that we definitely want to look at. Doesn't clearly determine anything, but it's definitely in the thought process. Distribution of the hand, whether we're balanced, whether we're unbalanced, whether we're mixed, like semi-balanced, right? And then the location of the high cards. Where are your high cards located based on the strength of the opponent's bids, right? Are you underneath the stronger opponent, or are you on top of the stronger opponent? Okay, so that's what location of high cards means. So we have law of total tricks, holding in the opponent's bid suit, vulnerability, the distribution of our hand, the one we're looking at, and the location of high cards based on the opponent's bidding, whether their high cards are on top of our high cards or underneath our high cards. So let's come back to this auction. 1 diamond by West, noting that South is a passed hand. North overcalls 1 heart, negative double by East. 2 hearts by South, simple raise, showing 3 hearts and a weak hand. Pass, pass, 3 diamonds by East, completing their negative double hand. Hey, partner, I had 4 spades, but I also have 4 diamonds with you. South bids to 3 hearts. Generally, that right there is based on the law of total trump. I would assume South to have 4 trump at this point, knowing North has 5 for their overcall, and South is looking at 4 trump. So South is bidding 3 hearts, competing to 3 hearts with 4 trump. Anytime you're deciding whether to bid 3 over 3, right? 3 hearts over 3 diamonds in this case, you base it on the law of total trump. Pass, pass, back to East. So let's look at our options. Option number 1 is to pass. That doesn't seem right, right? Partners open the bidding, and East has what, 4, 8, 9, 10 high card points. The partnership has 22, 23 high card points between the 2 of them. Can't be right to pass, right? So I would chunk option 1 pretty quickly here. Option 2, double. Does East want to double for penalty? It could work, but with a singleton trump, that's a little dangerous. You like to have some kind of length in the opponent's trump suit to choose the double option. And option number 3, bidding 4 diamonds. Okay, so we know partner doesn't have too many hearts because the opponents have 9 in theory, if we trust them competing to 3 hearts. And they could have 10 because North, we don't know, whether they have extra more than just 5 hearts. So partner doesn't have too many hearts and probably no wasted values in that singleton heart. And we know we have 8 trump, right? But we also are considering partner holding 5 diamonds, because if they don't have too many hearts, they didn't have 4 spades, right? Because East made a negative double and West didn't come back and say, hey, 2 spades, partner, I have 4 spades with you, right? So West is short in spades, short in hearts, and therefore they most likely have 9 cards in the minors. So as East, I would take partner for 5 diamonds, meaning we have 9 trump and shortness in the opponent's bid suit. Primary cards, that's going to be something we look at too. The ace of spades and the ace of clubs. Those are good defensive cards, right? But they're also even better declare cards because you can control those suits. So based on all of those factors, right, as well as East-West being vulnerable, with East hand, I would go ahead and compete to 4 diamonds and play the hand out.